Viewer discretion is advised.
Okay. You are listening to Wine and Crime, the podcast where two friends chug wine, etc., chat true crime, and unleash their worst Minnesotan accents. Aaron just appears.
Yeah. My friend Aaron and I like to have call and response at his house using
That
albeit
sound.
sexualized renditions of Link, of the hero of the Zelda series, specifically Ocarina of Time. When he fights, he's like, He makes these little like porn sounds.
Ew.
And
So they'll just like be in separate rooms and just go,
And then yeah,
Ew.
he has a way deeper voice than me because he's like a 6'5" man. But so yeah, my call is like, and his is like,
Ew.
It's so gross.
Will you call me next time you're over there? I feel
Yes.
like I just need to hear it.
I'll put
just
you
to
on
get it out of my head.
speakerphone, and we'll just do it.
I'll join in. It'll be a chorus.
I'll be over there tomorrow, so
Great.
I gotta
I'm
record
around all
passages.
day. I'm Lucy.
Oh, I'm Amanda. And I do have another podcast called Passages that's about romance novels, and you should definitely listen to it. And I'm going to just shamelessly put that out there because it's extraordinarily funny.
It's pretty fucking funny.
It's pretty good. It's good stuff.
Oh my God. Okay, back to us. Back to us.
Yeah,
Back to
but
us.
this is Wine and Crime, okay? So shut up.
But you are listening to Wine and Crime.
You better shut up. You're listening to Wine and Crime. It's me yelling at myself.
Yeah, well. So today we have a very special fan pick.
Mm-hmm.
This, it was dark for me.
Girl. Yeah. This was
But, you
rough.
know.
This was rough. My notes aren't super long. Obviously, it is not solved, which will become abundantly clear by the topic
Uh-huh.
shortly. But like, this was a hard one.
Yep. It was, but it
Yeah.
got the blood pumping because
Sure
I
did.
have someone you're gonna hate.
Oh no.
And on that note, this week's topic, our very special fan pick, comes from Adrian.
Mm-hmm.
And Adrian has chosen the topic of vanished on vacation.
Like, girl, we're about to kick off vacation season, and you
We'll
had
get
to
to
give
it.
us this.
Well, don't get your hopes up for the GDP of 2025.
I mean, I'm going to the Jersey Shore. I don't give a shit. You could not, wild horses couldn't drag me away from
Well, we
my
gotta-
week on down the shore.
Couple Trova trips coming up, so
Yeah, we do.
get that burner phone.
Yep.
Anyway, let's dive right in, shall we? Amanda,
Yes, let's.
tell us what our wine crime pairing is for Vanished on Vacation.
Yep. I'm hoping that I remember after saying this out loud to tell Andrea, our amazing producer, to post, and I think she usually does do this, but because I'm doing a cocktail that does actually require an extra step that is best done the day before, which is precisely why I'm not drinking it. I hope that I can remember to have the recipe included with Wine Wednesday so that when people see it on Wednesday, they could prep and then have this cocktail for listening on Thursday. So for Vanish on Vacation.
Something tells me she's going to be on top of it.
She is. I don't even know why. I'm questioning myself.
Me too.
She's got this. I'm not worried about her. We would be nothing without her or John.
No.
Let's all just shout out to Andrea and John always and forever. If I ever fell ill with child, you would be their godparents or whatever.
When you see people on life support and there's that machine next to them that's like the accordion, like the
Yeah, that's
like the
Andrea
vertical
and John.
accordion.
To
That's
our,
Andrea and John.
To our corpses.
To our clinging to life. Terry Schiavo corpses.
Oh, God.
That was a drunk dive. We have complicated feelings. Go listen.
We have very don't get me. We wanted to make this a nice, succinct episode. Do not even talk to me about Miss Terry because my opinions are
Pull up a chair.
All over the place. Definitely get on Uncorked and listen to that drunk dive. I
would talk about Terry Schiavo all day long.
It was I think, actually very deeply meaningful conversation that's important for so many people to have.
Yeah.
And
it got really deep. And
yeah, it's almost a tragedy that it's behind a paywall, but y'all, we got to keep the lights on. So please go.
We got to pay John and Andrea to keep ourselves breathing.
Yes, please, for the love of God. Join us on Uncorked. But anyway, here's this cocktail. Okay, so like we mentioned, the cases we're covering today, certainly not fun. Not fun in any way, shape, or form. But this topic did make me want to find something fun, like a fun drink for the summer. And this one that I found looks so fucking good. Like I said, if you're willing to prep a little in advance, literally the night before to make this, do it. It's worth it. So did I prep in advance? No, because I found this recipe today. But I will absolutely be making this. I'm going to bring stuff to make this also to Pepin because
yes,
I know we were like, let's not drink so much this weekend. But I'm like, but I made so many fun new cocktail recipes and I want you to try all of them and tell me how fucking good a bartender I am.
I picked that up in your text message today when Blorty was like, well, I probably won't be drinking much. And you were like, well,
I'm bringing cocktail stuff.
I'm bringing some fun cocktails.
Yep. I'm bringing all of the substances that we will need for the weekend, both herbal and liquid.
Don't worry. I will back you up for all of it.
Yeah. So this one that I'm also going to make for us is called the Spiked Sparkling Basil Lemonade, which on its surface already sounds amazing. But
basil in a cocktail is...
oh, heaven. But
fun.
The thing that really elevates it, what you need to prep in advance, is basil infused vodka. Which is very, very easy to make. So you can pick your preferred vodka. And because you're infusing it, you don't even really have to go for the super fancy tasting stuff. Whatever, get your Svedka on. Who cares? You can put it in a mason jar and just pack that mason jar with fresh basil, let it sit overnight, and then sift it out. Pour it, you could pour the whole thing even into your cocktail shaker and just use that strainer that fits on top of the cocktail shaker to pour out the vodka and then dump what's left in the in the cocktail shaker.
Probably if you have cheesecloth, that might be work better.
That too. I mean, depends how fancy you want to get with it.
I bet you that infuses so fast.
Oh, yeah.
I bet it gives so much flavor in just, 12 hours or whatever.
You can literally just do it overnight, and then that really brings out the flavors in the basil that is that nice balance of herbaceous but also sweet.
Mm-hmm.
Super, super good. And then, it makes the vodka a vibrant green. So I would do it in a tall boy, but I know the photo shows a low ball, really your preferred glassware. But when there are drinks that also have lemonade and sparkling water in it, I like a little bit more room. So I fill a tall boy with ice. You could put your 2 ounces, but to taste.
When you say tall boy, do you mean a pint glass?
Like a tumbler, yeah.
Okay.
Yep. Put your 2 ounces or however much you want and need, mama, in a tall glass with ice. And then I would do equal parts lemonade and soda water to top it off. But if you want it on the sweeter side, you can just do more lemonade and less soda water. But I like it a little bit, less sweet. And then you can sugar the rim if you want. And you can even use some of the leftover basil, not the booze soaked basil, but you can finely chop the basil or even get dried basil and put that in with your sugar and have a sugar basil rim. And then
or
garnish.
At least a sprig, maybe.
Yep. Yeah. And then garnish with a sprig and or a lime wedge or a lemon wedge.
That sounds so good.
So refreshing. And I really appreciate cocktails that do include juice that aren't so reliant on the juice portion, because being diabetic, I do usually err on the side of less sugary stuff in my drinks. So this one's a really, really easy one. It's 3 ingredients. It's your basil infused vodka, your lemonade, and your sparkling water. And you can set your ratios however feels good to you. There's no perfect science to it. You just do it the way you want it to taste. But
it's jazz, baby.
It sounds like the perfect thing on the beach on a hot day. It just sounds so freaking refreshing.
I think it sounds perfect in a hot tub on the shores of Lake Pepin.
At midnight with no clothes on.
Next to a busy thoroughfare.
My future. I don't think it's a busy thoroughfare.
Well, I think it's like the main road into town.
All right, well,
I
they're
don't give a
welcome.
shit. They're all going to get a show.
They're welcome. You know how I love to be naked on our vacations.
I know.
On specifically my best friend's vacations. Not every vacation.
We went skinny dipping in that pool in Texas.
Oh, the best. And then I got to skinny dip in Palm Springs. I asked for consent. They gave me blanket consent for all events moving forward.
She did ask for consent, which I thought was really nice.
I always do.
But that time we went skinny dipping in Texas in the cocktail pool.
Oh, we were just drunk.
We were just drunk, but also that was the first time you saw my wildly discrepant breasts.
I mean, of course, I'd seen it in a bra and in a bathing suit. I'd never seen them fully free.
In a glory.
And it's you really can't
shocking
comprehend the difference in size when you have a bra or bathing suit on. But
I know.
It's like I always knew.
Because I have to pick one cup or the other.
One cup or the other. And also, because of the size difference, there is a little bit of nipple and areola discrepancy.
Oh, yeah.
Which they're sisters, not twins. So we all have that.
I am the least symmetrical bitch.
It's exquisite, frankly. You're a work of art.
I think it's so intense that it's kind of cool.
It was shocking. It genuinely left me speechless for several moments. I was like, she took her swim top off and I just went slack-jawed and like stood there taking in, really
in
having
a good way though.
Oh,
I'm taking it as a good way.
Oh my God, it was like the best moment of my life. I loved it. I had a whole new appreciation for the fascinating differences in the human body.
I felt validated because I feel like I say it all the time.
And because it's not that noticeable because you have the right bras and stuff. But yeah, when they're free.
Catch me with a good breeze.
I mean, these sisters weren't even born in the same year. This is me and Ashley. They're 5 years apart.
Yeah.
That's a whole cycle of growth.
It's a cycle, all right.
Anyway.
And I was told by my doctor that it would get better after childbirth. And it, in fact,
got worse.
I'm not going to say worse.
But no change.
No, I'm just not going to use the word worse.
No, sorry.
It got more dramatic.
More dramatic. Okay, yes, good. Thank you. I also shouldn't use the word worse.
That's okay.
You know what I meant.
I know what you meant. I mean, I started with better. So.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Wow. Well, cheers.
Cheers.
Cheers to being topless this summer with your best friends while sipping a spiked sparkling basil lemonade with consent,
yes,
of course, for all the things. Which, honestly, you could basil infuse, you could do basil infused like water with a little bit of sugar in it, and then put that in like a soda stream and make that sparkling. You could use that to top off your beverage, or you could use that to make more of a mocktail version of this where you don't need the basil infused vodka at all. Yeah. And it's a basil infused sparkling lemonade. You're just infusing your water source for making your sparkling water.
I mean, honestly, it's just a basil infused sparkling water you can put with any kind of juice.
Oh, yeah. Just saying. There are so many. That's why I love this recipe. It's like so easy, but it seems so mixology. It seems so fancy, but it's very, very, very simple. And it can be augmented for whatever your needs are. So I'm like obsessed with it.
I love it.
Yep. Can't wait.
Can't wait for Pepin.
I'm going to pack my forensic files cooler with all of our bar stuff for Pep.
Fucking cooler.
It's going to be great. It's going to be great.
Okay, well, thank you for that. And shall we take a quick break for a word from our sponsors before we dive into some vanishings?
Yes. I've been stalling so that we don't have to talk about it.
Well,
but the time is now, so let's do it.
We'll be right back. Once the temps started rising, I had a horrible realization that I was heading right back into the same worn out summer clothes rotation. Mm-hmm. Same couple of tanks, same shorts, same everything. Everything's black. Mm-hmm. Like I just needed I needed to like grow up a little bit. I
Break
feel.
out of your uniform.
Yes. So I upgraded that daily uniform with Quince. Their pieces are easy, elevated, and somehow make me feel more put together without even trying.
Truly, nothing elevates your wardrobe like classic staples that you can like buy once and they never go out of style. Like 100% European linen shorts and dresses from $30. They've got luxe swimwear. They've got Italian leather platform sandals and so much more. Their accessories game is on point. And the best part is everything with Quince is priced 50 to 80% less than what you would find at similar brands. They do this by working directly with top artisans and cutting out the middlemen. So Quince gives you luxury without the markup. It's truly astonishing. The pieces are so elevated. They look and feel so expensive. The quality is incredible. And the pricing is like, it blows my mind every time. And Quince only works with factories that use safe, ethical, and responsible manufacturing practices and premium fabrics and finishes, so you can really feel good about what you're wearing.
I ordered some like cute gauzy shorts in a color blue.
Cute.
And I wore them yesterday while I was walking around the block with June. And I was like, wow, I have not showered in days. I feel like filth, but I look.
You look like you could be on the magazine They're Just Like Us celebrity section.
Yeah, I look like a full-grown adult.
You sure do.
So treat your closet to a little summer glow up with Quince. Go to quince.com/wine for free shipping on your order and 365-day returns. That's QUINCE.com/WINE to get free shipping and 365-day returns. Quince.com/wine.
Shopping in store is nightmarish.
It's an ask.
It's an ask. I do not like it. And even when I can figure out my size, stores rarely seem to have it in stock. The dressing room lighting is a crime. And it's like, why are all of your mirrors funhouse mirrors? What is going on? This feels like a personal attack.
Yeah.
Not a fan, but honestly, since I started using Stitch Fix, which y'all know I've been using it for years, you get a stylist who understands your style, your size, and your budget, and they do all the shopping for you. Literally every pair of jeans I own now is from Stitch Fix. They get my sizing perfect.
It's like a psychic ability that they have.
It's unbelievable.
Yeah. So, yeah, figuring out your style can be super overwhelming. And like often I don't even know where to start. Like someone tell me what to do. And that's why I love having a Stitch Fix stylist because they really know what works for me. I get pieces that make me look great and also feel great. Like I could tell them, it's like, I have kind of broad shoulders and like weirdly skinny legs and not a weirdly skinny like waist. And they're like, don't worry, I got you.
We got you.
So yeah, I just give my stylist my size, style, budget preferences. I order boxes when I want and how I want. They don't require a subscription. But if you want a little regular pick me up, little serotonin in the mail, they can automatically ship them to you. Your stylist sends you just for me pieces plus outfit recommendations and styling tips. You just keep what you love and send the rest back in a bag that's like, it's already there. They send it with, you can return whatever you want. It's so easy. My stylist sends personalized pieces, and like I said, the fit is flawless. I really don't know how they do it. It's like having my own stylist in a little pocket.
Yep.
No stores, no crowds, no stress, just personalized looks you'll love. Stitch Fix makes it all so easy.
Personal styling for everyone. Get started today at stitchfix.com/wineandcrime. That's stitchfix.com/wineandcrime.
I cannot be bothered to cook myself a full lunch in the middle of the day. Like, I'm busy. So I eat a lot of sandwiches, and that translates into a lot of bread. And in the summer months, the last thing I want to feel like when I'm outside is like I just ate a whole loaf of bread.
Yep.
So it benefits you to be a little bit picky about the bread that you're consuming, and that's why Hero Bread is my hero. With Hero Bread, you can focus on your health goals and still indulge in your favorite bready meals guilt-free, like enjoying a bagel breakfast sandwich, burgers or brats with soft, fluffy buns that taste, not only taste like real, like full bread, but I think better.
Yeah, the Hawaiian buns are literally magic.
Yeah, they've got tortillas.
When I think of you, I think of ham and cheese with a little mayo on a Hawaiian bun. And these Hawaiian buns are unreal.
I'll just eat them plain.
Mm-hmm.
And their baked goods are mouth-watering while being ultra low in net carbs, 0 grams of sugar, and they're high in fiber.
Yeah, I have often had to just forego bread as a type 1 diabetic, and it's like such a relief to be able to bring bread and, bread products back into my rotation. Like, your girl loves a bagel as much as anybody else does, but I often can't reach for that in the morning because then it's going to set my blood sugars super high for the rest of the day. I love their Hero Bread bagels. I'll toast them and then just put a little peanut butter on it, and I'm like, good. It's the best. I also made enchiladas with their tortillas.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't even tell Bill that I had used the Hero Bread
You can't
tortillas.
tell.
He had no clue. He had no idea. Same with the buns, like the Hawaiian buns. I just didn't tell him. And he was like, where are these from? And I was like, ha ha ha. Funny you should ask, my king.
It just tastes like good bread.
Seriously, it fits really nicely into my already kind of complex at times food routine and makes those quick decisions when it is hard. I also have ADHD, so it can be hard for me to meal plan and like stay within the guidelines of my diet. And like you said, I can just reach for this and make that sandwich and not have to think so hard about it and know that it's going to be just simple and right within my meal plan. And like I said, their product range is amazing. Big fan of the Hero Classic Plain Bagel. This one has 4 grams of net carbs, 0 grams of sugar, and 19 grams of protein. And if you want to kick it up a notch, they also have the Hero Everything Bagel, which is 5 grams of net carbs and 17 grams of protein. So if you're also looking to get a little bit more protein in your diet, for a type 1 diabetic, the protein is really helpful to help stabilize your glucose. This has been like an all-in-one way to get protein, not overwhelm the net carbs, and just like crush it and have it taste so good.
Hero Bread is offering 10% off your order. Go to hero.co and use code GALS at checkout. That's GALS at HERO.co.
Lucy, what is our likely not much background or psych, but definitely a case for vanished on vacation?
There is a little bit of background in the form of context.
Mm-hmm. Some travel safety and stats and things like that.
Yeah. As we are on the fucking, 4th day of this godforsaken administration or whatever the fuck day it is.
4th day? 4th month?
8,000th day?
Yeah.
I don't know. It's a whirlwind. So much happens in one day.
Mm-hmm.
It feels like it's been a century.
It sure does.
But how this is going to impact travel, we can't say, but it's probably not going to be net positive. And we'll get there. But first, let's talk about some travel trends.
Okay.
This is according to the Savvy Nomad. Road trips are still the #1 method for domestic travel, with 9 out of 10 holiday travelers using our lovely highway system to get out there.
Honestly,
hit the road.
I love a road trip, and it can often be a lot cheaper than flying.
Yes. And I feel like if you are traveling through somewhere interesting,
you can stop.
The journey is just as
You can
important as
stop
the
to see
destination.
the world's largest basket or the world's largest naked leg sundial that you didn't realize was on a nudist colony when you barged in a bright yellow Penske truck, panicked, turned around and left, and then we're told, no, we have to go back.
With a running camera.
Yeah, that you lost, so we don't have any of the footage.
I know. I definitely got just a naked man's just pancake ass.
Oh,
by
the butts are
accident.
so flat.
They're so flat.
So I turned the truck around because I was like, you know what? You're right. We did make it all this way. I can look at an old naked man. That's fine. I'm
you
fine.
wanted to turn around and leave. And I was
literally
like, go back.
did turn around.
Go
So
back.
we made that entrance twice in that truck.
Our inconspicuous yellow, orange
It
budget
was like
truck.
a 16-foot truck because they were out of the really small one. Holy shit.
But this one was special because the radio
Was
was
also
stuck
broken.
on to a static station at full volume.
Yep. So that was, I can't believe our friendship survived that. We took it so well, like so in stride.
Like, I know it was hell when we did it, but
It was also
it was
really
kind of fun in retrospect. We stopped and I got my first Squishmallow on that trip.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we had to buy a Bluetooth speaker so that we could blast music or a podcast over the sound of just static because it was stuck on like an AM station. And then every once in a while we get close enough to like a creepy town that some like Jesus radio would break through on the AM frequency.
That was exciting.
And we're like, shut up. We're trying to listen to that season
trying to
of
listen to
Something
Aaron
Was
Carter.
Wrong. And also Aaron Carter.
Lots of Aaron Carter.
Anyway,
Yes,
road trips.
Road trips. Road trips are great. I love a Route 66 road trip.
I've done that.
Mm-hmm.
The best roadside attractions.
So cute.
So cute.
Microcations. I don't love that word. But these consist of like 3 to 4 days. So like our Lake Pepin vacation will be a microcation. These are gaining popularity as people begin to maximize their PTO use about fucking time.
Yeah.
Take every bit.
Minute.
Every second
Yup.
of your PTO. Because they don't care about you.
No, they don't.
They don't. Off-season travel is also becoming more popular as a money-saving measure.
Mm-hmm.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
I mean, I wouldn't come to Des Moines in January, but like, if it's a reasonably temperate climate with like plenty of interesting things to do, what's an off-season?
What's an off-season? Doesn't bother me. Also, I just want to say one thing soapboxy. Well, let's be honest, it'll never be one thing about the PTO situation. So like, not to toot our own horns, but we are small business owners with employees and we have always had unlimited PTO. You just tell us when you're taking it.
What you need.
Tell us what you need and you take it. And like, obviously I understand.
The hours don't matter.
They don't matter.
At the bottom line, they don't matter.
If the work's getting done by one of us, even if that means we're stepping in and taking on tasks while somebody else is gone, then that's fine. We don't care. Go wherever you want to go. Do whatever you want to do. We'll make it work. And I know that our business is small. Like we don't have a lot of employees, but we are not the only business that does this. And the majority of those businesses, if not all of those businesses, don't see any kind of abuse of an unlimited PTO policy. We have never, in all the years that we've had employees here, encountered any issues with people, quote unquote, overusing PTO.
When I screamed, they don't care about you, I was
like
referring to corporations.
Yeah, no, 100%. So that's just to say it's a bullshit corporate fail-safe, quote unquote, against overuse of those offerings. Like, we don't do PTO or sick days. You get paid for the hours that, you know, you are supposed to work, like your 40 hours a week, whatever. And, you know, we pay overtime if you go over those hours. And if you're sick, you don't have to fucking work that day and you're going to get paid.
We're all humans.
We don't have any like payroll issues in that regard at all. So
we also
don't listen
have any,
when companies say that kind of shit.
We also don't have any output issues.
No.
Like,
we still don't miss
our
episodes.
People are working as hard as we can possibly go. But not at the expense of like being unhealthy.
Fuck no. It's not worth it.
Living a life. It's just your job.
Yeah. Fuck.
Anyway, take the PTO. Okay. The top 5 travel destinations in the U.S. this year are... Do you want to guess what number 1 is?
Well, I accidentally saw it, so I'm looking away now. But I shouldn't guess that one because I already know it. But I'll just say it. It's Orlando.
Just say it. It's Orlando.
Which totally
That's not
tracks.
shocking at all.
It's a bummer.
But Disney.
Yeah, but it tracks because of Disney and Universal are right there.
Yeah, and all the space shit.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what number 2 is?
Okay, number 2.
It's on a separate page in our document, so maybe you didn't see number 2.
I didn't see number 2, and I'm not scrolling. I would imagine it's a big city. I have to say, like, New York City, because people come from all over the world just to experience New York City.
It is New York City.
Okay.
New York City is most visited for holiday travel.
Oh, that makes sense.
Like Christmas
in New
time.
York is a whole thing. Autumn in New York is a whole movie.
It's a whole movie.
Richard Gere and Winona Ryder, and she's got a heart condition, and spoiler alert, she dies. But along the way, she makes a lot of really cool headbands because she's an artist.
That's one movie I couldn't even stomach to watch even once.
Oh, girl, it's cringe, but let me tell you, I watched a lot of tape of that.
It reminds me of the other coast of City of Angels.
Oh,
It's
yeah,
just
which is
so-
also a movie that I
Ugh.
fucking love. I watched it again recently.
Really?
Oh, it's awful. It's like,
Ugh,
it's.
I can't.
I have to make Robbie watch it. It's like funny. That's how bad it is. And he gets
Peaches or whatever spills out.
and he falls from grace to give up his angelhood to spend one day with Meg Ryan, and then the next day she gets like pancaked by a lumber truck and dies.
Get a hobby. Get a fucking hobby.
It's basically propaganda that's like, if you have sex, a log truck will hit you and kill you. Is it worth it? They weren't married. They shouldn't have done that.
Great sex, though.
And as an angel, he should have known. Oh, yeah, they have
Honestly-
sex in like a cabin, I think like Lake Tahoe,
Maybe.
uh,
Well, they're in LA.
in front
City
of a
Angels.
fireplace. Yeah, but they go away for the weekend.
Oh. Well,
So, anyway,
we've learned a lot about Lake Tahoe geography in the 6 hours since that episode has been published.
listen. Listen. We get it. It's not the Southwest.
You're southwest of us.
We're not
as
the
John
Midwest.
pointed out.
We're the North. Okay? we all have our things to complain about. But does
Regional-
that have
regional
to be one of
arguments.
them? There's
Don't
so
at
much
me.
else to discuss, including next on the list, which, speaking of City of Angels, would be my guess, because it's like another huge coastal city that's globally famous because of Hollywood.
Okay.
That's what I think is
Oh,
number
LA.
3.
You think
Yeah.
LA is next? Well, what I was all I was gonna say, New York City, most visited for holiday travel and also events. If there's big concerts or like,
Yep.
big dance.
I mean, New York Fashion
Things.
Week.
all
Yeah,
that
the New York City
stuff.
Ballet. Broadway? Are you kidding
Yeah.
me? Literally Broadway.
So a lot of people go there in the colder months.
Mhm.
It also doesn't smell as bad in the winter, so
True that.
like that's a perk.
The piss smell is much less noticeable in the cold.
Mm-hmm. Number 3, in fact, is Las Vegas.
Oh, that makes total sense.
Mm-hmm. Casinos, all those fucking hotels, so much
Yup.
fake air conditioning, fake bodies,
Yup,
cheap
and-
flights.
Yeah, shows, music festivals, all kinds of shit. That
The
totally
Sphere.
tracks. Okay.
Mm-hmm. But LA is number 4.
All right. I wasn't that far off.
No, but and this is pretty much for like every reason. You've got Hollywood,
The
cultural
Walk of
events,
Fame.
excellent weather,
Mm-hmm.
beautiful people. You got beaches, all kinds of food. Like
Mm-hmm. I
it's a
love
big
LA.
food restaurant town. I love LA too.
I really
What's not
do.
to like? The traffic.
I mean,
There's
yeah,
a lot not to like, but
but I don't
remember when that
know.
guy pulled out in front of you when you were driving us home from that dinner and you almost
Oh,
T-boned him? Like for real.
Girl, I tapped into a reaction time that I didn't even know was possible. Not a scratch.
It was cat-like.
It was. It was a proud moment, but I was pissed.
Yeah. Yeah. You could have died. He flew out.
Oh, yeah. If we had been
assuming
like
it was the heat.
literally 1, maybe 2 seconds ahead, it would have been a direct driver side hit.
Split second.
Yep. That would have sucked.
LA also has CatCon,
Oh,
another huge reason for tourism.
and has M from And That's Why We Drink.
That's true. I want to let you guess what number 5 is. Because
Okay.
it seems really random to me.
Okay. We've got Orlando, New York, Vegas, LA.
Hmm.
These all make sense. And you're saying
Mhm.
number 5 is really random.
I think it's random.
Because my next guess was either going to be Chicago or New Orleans. But those don't seem that random. So,
Okay. Number 5 on the list is Phoenix, Arizona.
really? I do love Phoenix. I just didn't realize it was like such a destination. But you know what? The Gulf. Are they including like Scottsdale? Because Scottsdale is like a suburb-ish of Phoenix. It's big.
Well, I'm
but-
sure you fly into Phoenix and you drive to Scottsdale
Yeah.
or whatever.
Mm-hmm. That makes sense. And, you know, you could fly into Phoenix to go to Sonoma, or not Sonoma, Sedona, excuse me. Yeah. That does
I don't
seem
know.
random.
It felt random, especially given that Las Vegas and LA are in the same southwest region of the country. I know LA is not the southwest. Get off my jock. It is southwest of us.
Yeah. Yeah, and we are the center of the universe.
And we are the mid-north.
Yeah, you're the mid-north. I'm the north, bitch.
Mid-latitudinally.
Yeah. Yes.
Mid this way.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I knew what you meant. You knew what I meant. The U.S. Travel Association put out an article in January of 2025. So let's just see how wrong they were, given
Lord.
what we know about the state of affairs today.
Okay.
So first off, they said that inbound international visits would increase by about 8.8%.
Well, with
LOL.
like many countries putting valid travel warnings on the United States in the last months.
They said that growth in international visits remains an important factor in reestablishing travel as one of our most important exports, with more than $200 billion in international spending projected for 2025.
That's not going to happen. That's not going to happen. I mean,
And
I hope
tariffs.
no. I hope it doesn't fucking happen. And I'm poor as shit.
It shouldn't happen.
And everything's-
People should not come here.
No.
It is dangerous.
It is
here.
dangerous to be here. It is, and it, you know, it's always been dangerous specifically for like people of color and queer and trans people in the United States. But like, that's only continuing to get worse, and it's more dangerous for all of us.
Everything's getting worse. If you can avoid an airport, and I'll be totally honest, I am nervous about all of the travel that we have coming up.
Yeah, I'm not going to lie and say I haven't thought about it. You know, I want to continue to do the things that we want to do with our listeners and like as a business. And I understand if people are not feeling comfortable flying. And like, I know that I have plenty on my phone that is very anti-administration. You know, there's a lot of organizing that happens on my phone. So like, you know, hearing reports of people being detained by customs coming back into the US and having their phones searched, I'm definitely doing my due diligence on knowing what my rights are and steps that I can take before like getting on the plane from the country I'm leaving. You know, because I need to have my phone. It's like not just my phone. It's also a medical device. Like I need it for my pump and stuff.
Oh, you need your phone. You
Yeah.
couldn't even get a burner phone.
Yeah. I mean, if I was going to get a burner phone, I don't have the money to get like a smartphone that would support the apps that I need to operate my devices. But those apps wouldn't exist on like a little flip phone.
Yeah.
Which is a bummer. But, you know, but there are still precautions that you can take. And there's a ton of information out there about it now, especially on like, I'm seeing a ton of info about it on Instagram and steps that people can take. And we are certainly, as two cis white women, very unlikely to be detained at customs. Like it's not likely.
I'm not trying to like cosplay like I'm in the most danger.
It is not
but
likely to happen to us specifically, but that doesn't mean that we can't be mindful of those additional risks and just, you know, move with caution.
And I guess my main message is if you have optional travel to come to the US, if you don't currently live in the US, if you can postpone it
Yeah, consider it.
for a little while.
I mean, genuinely,
consider it.
we wouldn't advise anyone to fucking come here.
No. Not right now. Okay, so some potential challenges that they said in January include reduced visits from important regions, including Asia, the risk of geopolitical tensions, policies that complicate and dissuade potential U.S. visitation, and prolonged visa wait times for visitors from significant inbound markets.
This reads very much like a Biden administration exit plea on the White House website, hoping that Trump's team will read it and as a last, like, please don't do all the things you campaigned on.
Here's
but,
what
like,
could
join.
happen. Don't do any of these. Well, sweet Travel Association, you had no idea what bullshit would be shot out of a fucking fire hose into our faces 3 months later.
Yeah. I mean, to be fair, yeah, we did, because he's doing all the shit he said he was going to do since like 2016. But I think we just weren't prepared for how quickly it would befall us.
I don't think that those tariffs were widely known at that point.
I don't think people
For
understood them, but
example,
he campaiged on
He
tariffs.
doesn't understand them.
No, of course he doesn't. But he's a puppet. It's not even.
I know, but I mean like the 50%, whatever. It's fine. Either way, it wasn't widely known factual information the way that it is today.
100%.
So this is from a Forbes article from April 15th. So 2 days ago as we record this. Arrivals of non-U.S. citizens by plane dropped by 10% this March compared to last year. Great, good sign. Goldman Sachs estimates that in a worst case scenario, so like it's gonna be worse than this, the hit from reduced travel and boycotts of travel, people who are not coming here to spend their money here, could total 0.3% of our GDP. And that might sound like a very small number, but that number is $90 billion.
Yep.
Where you at, Doge?
Yeah.
That's a lot of money to lose. You're leaving a lot on the fucking table. According to the International Travel Association, international travelers spent $254 billion in the United States last year. And coming into 2025, people were still optimistic about tourism revenue, thinking that the U.S. would welcome about 77 million visitors. I don't think that's going to happen.
No, we've made it clear that it's so dangerous for anyone. I mean, it's dangerous enough as a citizen, but it is so much more dangerous if you are not a citizen. Even just a traveler. Like, there are lots of people who are not U.S. citizens who are very legally allowed to be here. That's like the whole point, and we shouldn't be fucking shipping people to concentration camps regardless of their legal status. But like, why would anyone want to fucking come here when this shit, people are being abducted off the street?
And there's also all these stories about like harsh detentions at U.S. airports with travelers from like France and Canada and the UK and Germany. And I haven't even seen stats from travelers coming from non-white majority countries. I have to imagine those are much higher. Like we're only seeing stories right now as we record this about people mostly from other mostly white countries, and we're like,
these
that's
issues coming
terrible.
here. Yeah.
She's clearly not an immigrant or like a dangerous person. She's blonde and white. But it's like, what do you say to the people who are visiting legally from Brazil or like, wherever? Ridiculous. So major public institutions in Canada, including a pension management firm and a leading hospital, are now advising staff against traveling to the United States.
Fair enough.
And it's likely only going to get worse from here. So we were supposed to have, the next decade was supposed to be like this booming, incredible tourism revenue source. So we were going to have the FIFA World Cup in 2026. America's 250th anniversary, I should say the United States' 250th anniversary, the 2028 Summer Olympics in LA, the men's and women's rugby World Cups in 2031 and 2033, respectively, and the 2034 Olympic Winter Games in Salt Lake City.
And you know what? All of these massive events would be sending a really powerful message if they withdrew their willingness to hold these events at all in the United States. That would be a super fucking powerful. Yeah, it would hit all of us in the wallet, but guess what? Trump's already doing that.
This country deserves to be punched in the gut a little bit.
Yeah, we done fucked up.
We elected this fucking guy.
We got to figure it out. But like, yeah, these are the kinds of opportunities that other countries can really make clear that like, we are not in support of what the United States government is doing. You cannot fucking sit with us.
Wasn't there an Olympic Games in Germany between World War I and World War II?
I am not sure.
But that was like a highly political Olympics. Anyway, don't at me. I'll Google it later. But there was some deal with one of the world wars and the Olympics in Berlin. Anyway, that's sort of my background and context.
I love it.
And now I want to tell you about this case. And this case was close to our fan picker's heart. And I don't think I'm not confident that she would want me to expose why. But basically, Adrian wanted this case to have a little bit more of a spotlight because it has definitely gone under discussed in the last several years. So this is the story. Well, the story of the disappearance of Robyn Gardner. And there's no like Wikipedia. There's not like a shit ton of information as far as like who she was as a person before this horrible shit happened. So I apologize in advance for that. But
all the more reason to cover it because that just indicates how little coverage there is about this case.
Yep. She disappeared from the same island as Natalie Holloway 6 years later in the idyllic time of 2011. Dear Lord, take me back.
Yeah.
So Robyn Gardner was born in 1976. She was a very pretty, blonde, spontaneous young woman. She loved to travel. She loved to play tennis, and she loved running. She had two siblings, Andrew and Danielle. In 2011, when Robyn was 35 years old, she had a boyfriend named Richard Forrester. She lived in Frederick, Maryland, but she stayed most nights, like 6 nights a week, with her boyfriend, Richard, in North Bethesda, which is about a 12-and-a-half-hour walk or a 40-minute drive away from her home where she lived.
Thank you.
Yeah. I didn't find any evidence that she walked to his house very often. So.
Okay.
They had been together for 2.5 years, and they had been going through some rough patches in their relationship. Despite this, the relationship did seem to be heading in the more permanent direction. They were talking about buying a house together. They were talking about marriage. Like it was a serious relationship that had just recently had its ups and downs.
Sure.
In late July 2011, Robyn told Richard that she was going to go to Florida to visit her family. She just had to clear her head. She's going to go to Florida for a little bit. She left town on July 31st. But she didn't actually go to Florida. She went to Aruba with a 50-year-old man named Gary Giordano. Gary lived in Gaithersburg, Maryland. So they lived close together, but I didn't find any evidence that they really hung out in person.
Okay.
I think this was an online relationship.
Okay.
And the nature of that relationship remains unclear. But Gary was a divorced father of three sons. His divorce was acrimonious. Both parties alleged abuse. So it was not a pretty divorce. He had a lot of money and he really loved to travel.
Okay.
So even though Robyn lied to Richard about where she was going, Richard did know about Gary. Both Richard and Robyn's roommate claimed that the relationship between Gary and Robyn was totally platonic. And they thought that they had met at some point in time on Match.com.
And just decided to remain friends.
Robyn's family and Richard were both like, this was not a sexual relationship. Robyn wouldn't do that. That's not her thing. ABC News reported that they actually met on adultfriendfinder.com.
Yeah.
Which in 2012 described itself as the world's largest sex and swingers personals community.
Okay.
So, we don't know the true nature of their relationship at this point, or at all. We don't know. Apparently, Gary had asked to travel with her in the past because she loved to travel. She was traveling all the time. Gary was like, I love to travel too. Can I come with you? And he had asked her that in the past, and she was like, no.
Yeah, we've never met in person. I don't know if I want to like go on a trip.
Well, and then Gary would send her like threatening text messages.
Ooh.
Like, I don't know exactly what they said, but I got the vibe that they were like, you bitch, you won't let me go on vacation with you.
Right.
Something like that.
Displeased with her very valid and kind no thank you.
Yeah, and she like showed the texts to her friends, and her friends were like, don't fucking hang out with that guy. He's fucking weird, and he's 50 years old.
Yeah.
Okay, so she had declined in the past, but this time when he asked her to travel with him, it was a little bit, the circumstances were a bit different because she had just lost her job as a patient coordinator at a dentist office, a dental clinic. So again, she told Richard, the boyfriend, that she just needed to go to Florida, visit her family, clear her head. Her siblings said that her going to Aruba instead wasn't really that strange because she often traveled places and didn't tell anyone till after she got back because, again, she was just spontaneous in that way.
I'm just going for the weekend. I'm not inviting anyone. It's nobody's
I'm
fucking
just going-
business.
Exactly.
And maybe she was like, yeah, maybe I'll go to Florida. And that had been the plan. And then she gets the opportunity to go to Aruba. And she's like, fuck it, I'm going to go to Aruba.
Yeah. Yeah. That was just her personality. While she was gone, she was keeping in touch with Richard via email and text. I'm pretty sure Richard still thought she was in Florida this whole time, but she was communicating with him. So Robyn is in Aruba with Gary. It's first couple days of August. 2 days into their trip, August 2nd, they were seen having dinner at Rum Reef Bar and Grill around 4 p.m. This is a beautiful restaurant and bar. It's got an infinity pool overlooking Baby Beach.
Don't love that name.
It's misleading. Well, we'll get to it.
I'm sure it's gorgeous, but the name is creeping me out. I'm just going to
Baby
be
Beach.
honest. Baby
Yeah.
Beach?
Baby Beach. I think it's called Baby Beach because it's super family friendly because it's got like really shallow, warm waters.
I mean, sure. Baby Beach just sounds to me like a pedophile, like, mecca.
I know it doesn't sound great, but
Like, maybe don't. I understand wanting to, like, advertise beaches that are safer for kids and families, but do we really need to call it Baby Beach? And maybe that's just like the colloquially it was called that because so many families go there and then that just name stuck, but it just creeps me out.
I think that's just how beach names sort of happen.
Yeah.
Like Baby Beach. In every article, it was called Baby Beach. It's
All
called
right.
Baby Beach. It's a Tuesday. Observers stated later that Robyn appeared woozy or intoxicated while at the restaurant. One person said, quote, barely ate her salad.
Okay.
They also told, these onlookers also later told NBC News that the couple were clearly in a romantic relationship, with Robyn telling the server at one point that she was waiting for her husband before she ordered.
Okay.
A server at the restaurant later said that Gary, like out of fucking nowhere, stood up and said, my name is Gary, and this is Robyn, and we're from Maryland.
Gary, no. Absolutely not. I would cringe and die.
Also,
I would
really
cringe into a
seemed
dust.
He really wanted people to know who they were and what time they were there, is my interpretation.
Yeah.
The last known photo of Robyn, which was taken around 4 p.m., shows her in her favorite dress as identified by her boyfriend.
Oh, no.
So her boyfriend found the picture. I think I have a picture on the drive which shows it's a cute maxi dress. It's got like fun patterns all the way down. She's got some cute wedges on. She's got a cute bag.
Very cute.
She's dressed up.
Yeah.
Robyn's last message to anyone back home was to her boyfriend, Richard, and it said, don't worry, I care about you. I love you. We'll talk and sort things out when I get back.
Okay.
So a little more about Baby Beach. It's known for being calm and gentle with excellent snorkeling. So at about 4 p.m., Gary and Robyn decide to pay their tab and give snorkeling in Baby Beach a go. So their server found this odd because Robyn, like I just said, appeared to be very put together. She had her hair done. She had her makeup done. She had her nice dress on.
And she's potentially drunk. They think she's inebriated. Is that
We'll
a good
get to
time to
that.
go snorkeling?
We'll get to that. Also, her siblings and Richard thought that this would have been out of character for Robyn. Like, she was spontaneous, but she's not one to waste a blowout, you know?
Yeah, no, fuck that. She's got a lot of hair.
And Richard is quoted as saying, quote, "We went on vacations and I couldn't even get her to put her head underwater in the pool. She was into makeup and hair, and knowing her, she would have had a few cocktails already and would only be getting ready to go out that night."
Yep.
She's not going to go snorkeling, fuck up her
Also,
whole look before they even
Snorkeling
go
at night
out.
is kind of a waste of time. You can't really see shit.
Well, at this point, it's 4 p.m.
Okay.
The sun didn't set there that night until after 7 p.m.
Okay.
So it's still light
Light.
outside, but it's still not good snorkeling time.
No.
4?
This, regardless of what the time of day, this, even with all the other information, this isn't making a lot of sense.
Yeah. Also, he later claimed that Robyn had taken sleeping pills and drank, quote, 2 glasses of vodka before they went to the restaurant.
Okay.
So who's fucking snorkeling at 4 p.m. after drinking that much and taking pills? Why are you snorkeling?
And also, it doesn't make sense that she would take sleeping pills before going to dinner.
Who takes sleeping pills as a let's get fucked up and take sleeping pills?
Like, I'm going to
What?
bed.
I want to sleep.
Yeah.
And it's going to be great sleep.
That doesn't make any sense.
I know. So that's at 4 p.m. They are seen leaving. 2 hours later, surveillance shows Gary getting out of the water alone. He goes back up to the bar at 6:02 p.m. and begins tapping on the shutters of the bar, seemingly to like make his presence known. 18 minutes later, at 6:20, he goes to the back kitchen of the bar. Like, he goes around the back to the door, the kitchen door, and tells someone to call the police. He later said, "I came around to the side and found some people, and I had them call the emergency number, and we went back to the location and tried to find her, and then people came. Coast Guards came. Helicopters came. No sign of her."
Okay.
Gary himself never went back into the water.
Didn't try to look for her. He's not screaming frantically for her.
No.
Hmm.
They also didn't know each other that well. I mean, I don't know. Okay, so in a later interview with the one and only Dr. Phil, Gary talked about...
Of course, this piece of shit's got his fucking paws all over this.
Yep. Gary talked about how strong the rip current was and how exhausted he was just trying to save his own life, and that no one else got into the water to look for her either. He's like, the kitchen guys didn't get in the water. The Coast Guard didn't get in the water.
Yeah.
Why was I expected to get in the water? I almost died. In a different interview, he said, quote, "I just saved my life. You have to make a decision at some point. Do you run into the burning house, or do you help somebody? Do you go call for help?" He later claimed that Robyn, again, the sleeping pills, and drank 2 glasses of vodka before the restaurant.
You know, if I didn't already have a bad feeling about this guy, I frankly would find that argument valid. Like, Riptide is no joke. It's not helpful to the other person if you are not, like, prepared and professional and able to actually get them out of the water. Then running to get help does make sense. He just has a lot else going on that makes me not trust him. But like that,
You don't even know the half
that
of what he's
singular
got going on.
comment, however, is valid.
It is valid. That singular comment is valid.
That's it. That's all I'm saying. I'm not giving him any benefit of the doubt. I'm just saying I kind of agree with him on that one thing.
At the point where he said that, he has had plenty of time to figure out what he could say that would be a valid statement.
100%.
Okay, so Baby Beach. Going back to Baby Beach. It's on the southern tip of Aruba. It's a warm, shallow bay that has beautiful turquoise waters. It's popular for sunbathing, snorkeling, family-friendly, like I said. The water is typically knee to waist deep. However, toward the end of the day, the water gets significantly deeper, like I guess the tide comes in, and it is advised to stay away from this area as the current gets much stronger. And that information is taken directly from visitaruba.com. So, like, people knew. Like that was a thing.
I'd be willing to bet that was on posted signage at that beach.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Or like the restaurant people.
Yep.
Don't go snorkeling right now. Also, it's fucking 4 p.m. Also, you're wasted and you're a fucking creep. Okay, so they can't find Robyn. This was an extensive search involving over 60 officials, including FBI agents, Aruba riot cops. I guess that's a thing.
Mm-hmm.
And volunteers all looking along the coastline. When the cops arrived at the beach, they observed Gary sweating profusely, and they saw that he had a scratch on his neck.
Interesting.
Gary claimed that they had gone snorkeling, and when the currents intensified, he signaled to Robyn to swim back, and then he lost sight of her.
Mm-hmm.
So several days go by. Robyn's family is notified, and her mother flies down to Aruba. At some point, Richard can't get a hold of Robyn, so he calls her family, and they're like, apparently she was lost at sea. And that's like the first time he found out that like she was
even there.
Yeah. He thought she was in Florida.
Yuck.
So her mom flies down. On Friday, Gary is arrested. Was it Friday? It might be Saturday. I think it was Saturday. Gary's arrested by Aruban authorities at the airport while he's trying to board a flight back home.
Mm-hmm.
He was arrested on suspicion of murder, manslaughter, kidnapping, and fraud.
Yes.
So earlier, when this all first went down, he had agreed to the authorities to stay and assist them. But then once he found out that Robyn's mother had flown down to Aruba,
he's like,
he changed his flight to an earlier flight and was trying to fly out. And that's when they got him at the airport.
Sketchy.
Okay, so come to find out, there are a few more disconcerting details about old Gary.
You don't say. Gare Bear, get your shit together.
Court records indicate that at least one other woman besides the woman that he divorced has sought an order of protection against him.
Mm-hmm. And yeah, in the divorce, they said there was mutual abuse.
She claimed that there was abuse. I think they both claimed there was abuse.
Yeah.
But at least she claimed abuse and she filed for an order of protection during that scenario several years before. Another woman at some point also filed for an order of protection.
Pattern.
He also had several arrests for thefts under $500.
So it won't be a felony?
I guess.
Yeah.
They also tracked down a bunch of women who had dated him in the past, who also happened to be mostly thin and blonde and looked a lot like Robyn. Several of these women recounted experiences of him having a temper, him being really possessive, and him having the ability to completely change to be charming and gregarious.
Narcissist alert.
Psychopath.
Yeah.
That is a psychopath. So this is a quote from ABC. Quote, Giordano, Gary, insisted on having her, Robyn's, email password so he could ensure that she was not seeing anyone else.
The fuck?
Dude, it gets worse.
It's the first time you've met her in person.
I don't know that for a fact, but I didn't find any sources that said they had met in person before Aruba.
Yeah.
It might have just been an online. Okay. She said that if she was going to the grocery store, he would want photographic proof. Take a selfie outside of Whole Foods or whatever.
What the fuck?
She also said sometimes he would spy on her and text her details of her outfit so she knew he was watching.
Oh my God.
This is the worst part. He even hid in the woods behind her home to watch her dressed in a deer costume. He dressed up like a deer and hid in the woods in her backyard to watch her through the window.
I don't even know what to say.
I don't either. Also, previously, he had a job as a fucking insurance fraud expert.
Okay.
And wouldn't you know it, good old Gare Bear had bought travel insurance for this trip through American Express for $1.5 million. And it covered accidental death and dismemberment of your traveling companion that he had her name listed.
Lock him the fuck up.
Well, you're gonna be disappointed.
I'm sure I am.
On Saturday, so she disappeared on Tuesday evening. This is Saturday. The Solicitor General in Aruba said that a pink shirt and black sandals found during a search of an abandoned phosphate mine, which was near where Gary said Robyn disappeared, did not, in fact, belong to Robyn. So there is still zero sign of her.
Oh.
To this day, there is zero sign of her.
Oh, my God.
The FBI raided Gary's home in Maryland. Nothing was reported that they found, so I don't think they found anything. Despite this, Gary is held in Aruba for 4 months without being charged while authorities attempt to build a case.
Okay. Yeah.
During that time, it's reported that images described as, quote, beyond pornographic are discovered on Gary's digital camera
Of Robyn?
involving Robyn.
Ooh. Oh, God.
But her friends and family absolutely maintain that she would not do something like that.
Yeah, 'cause she was with Richard. Is that his name? Her guy back home?
Richard was her boyfriend, and that was not her personality to to cheat on him and to send sexually explicit material to this way older man.
Yeah. It's almost like she was coerced to
And
do all of this, including go on the trip.
Yeah. After 4 months, Gary is released from Aruban prison due to lack of evidence. He goes back to Maryland, where he publicly whines that he never received any insurance money because American Express Assurance Company filed to block the payout.
You know, good for them. I just had a thought about her telling her boyfriend, Richard, that she was going to Florida, but then going to Aruba. Honestly, given what we know about this guy, the creepy guy, I could totally see him, maybe not in writing, but in phone conversations, being like, you know, come here and don't tell people where you are.
Mm-hmm.
Because it does ring kind of, even if it is aligned with her past behaviors, it does ring kind of strange to me that you wouldn't tell your partner of 2.5 years that you were traveling abroad out of the country.
Yes, and because they had been fighting recently, maybe she was just like, you know what? I need some fucking space. I don't need you to know where I am.
Maybe.
And that's really valid too.
Yeah. No, I know. It's just this makes me question things on all sides here.
Well, we don't have answers, but I'll tell you the rest of what we do know. Okay. So Amex filed to block the payout, but Gary will not be left out in the cold. No siree.
He earned this.
He earned this.
He almost died drowning his friend.
In June of 2012, so less than a year after she went missing, Gary sues American Express for $3.5 million. And I don't know where the $2 million discrepancy comes from.
Damages. He'd already been through something so harrowing.
Yeah. So as far as I know, they have not paid him $3.5 million.
They better fucking not.
3 years after Robyn's disappearance in 2014, Gary self-publishes a book.
Oh, you don't say.
Because what would this kind of fucking guy be without self-publishing a book?
Mm-hmm. Which, honestly, no hate to self-publishers as a whole. It's just that's so classic.
No, but a lot
this
of
kind of guy.
Yes, do that.
Yes, exactly.
Oh, I'm not shitting on self-published books.
No, we're shitting on this guy because of course he did.
He wrote a whole book in an effort to clear his name. He called it The Aruba Files.
Oh, yuck.
14 years. Grow up. I should also note that Natalie Holloway's family built like a center for missing people, like a center for help, either in the United States or specifically in Aruba. But they have been trying to help Robyn's family as much as they can to find her because they were both in fucking Aruba.
Yeah.
Okay, so 14 years later, today, nothing has come of her disappearance. Gary has never been charged for this.
Which, like, I do get, because if they have all of this circumstantial evidence. We just talked about this in our last episode. If they do not have enough for outside of this guy clearly being a fucking asshole and
we
total
can think
creep,
that he did it, but that's not a reasonable doubt
the
jury
state,
situation.
No, it is on the state to make sure that they have enough evidence to prove to a jury beyond a reasonable doubt that isn't just circumstantial. That doesn't mean that cases have not been tried and won on only circumstantial evidence, but they don't even have her body. They don't even have her remains.
They have nothing.
They have nothing. They have no physical, they know that they were together. They know that he called for help, but like, it's not, they don't have enough. So I hate that he hasn't been charged, but I also understand that's how it should be. And he's white, so of course they're going to actually like carry out. He's going to have some rights.
Yeah. So Robyn Gardner is presumed dead because no trace of her has been found since her disappearance.
Yeah, it's been over a decade now, right? Because this was in 2011.
14 years.
Yeah.
14 years this August. Richard has shared that he believes her disappearance could involve human trafficking. In an appearance on Good Morning America, he said, quote, "Human trafficking, yeah, absolutely. That's something I've been thinking about the entire time since day one. I think it's very possible, and I wonder what Gary's involvement was. There's a whole underworld down there. I don't know what he knows about Aruba."
Okay, I'm sorry. I was making an incredulous face because I thought you were saying that Gary has been saying maybe she was trafficked. And in my head, I'm like, okay,
no,
Gary.
her boyfriend, Richard.
Yes. And, that's entirely possible that Richard believes that Gary and made up this story about them going snorkeling. He goes just a safe distance into the water so he can get wet.
Yep.
And then he leaves.
Maybe someone picks her up in a boat, or maybe he does incapacitate her somehow and deliver her somewhere.
Yep, because she's already,
Because if they can't find any trace of her, she's obviously
not even
somewhere else.
No clothes or anything. And did he
Nothing.
did she leave shoes or anything on shore that he returned?
Yeah, nothing.
So we're supposed to believe she went snorkeling in her full outfit with her shoes on? None of it was recovered?
None of it.
That actually does make me think that he trafficked her. At first I was just like, oh, he brought her out there and he drowned her and then the current took her away and, God only knows what happened. But I didn't realize the detail that not even her clothes.
From what I read in these articles, they didn't recover anything. Yeah. No clothes, no
purse.
Shoes, no nothing. She had sunglasses. She had those cute little wedges.
There's no way. Then maybe she never got in the water at all.
It's possible she never got in the water at all.
Honestly, if that's true, like if not a single article of clothing was recovered or left on the beach to make it look like she took some clothes off and got in the water, I don't think she did get in the water. And that and that's wild.
And if he said she took sleeping pills,
yeah,
which he didn't have to disclose, he could have said like, "Oh, she smoked some pot or she, did something. I don't know what it is." The fact that he said it was sleeping pills leads me to believe that they were sleeping pills to knock her out, to incapacitate her,
lead
to
her
hand
to
her off to someone in a
location.
van.
Yep.
You get 10 grand. Bye.
Be seen together first. Say what your plans are for the night.
Yep.
To set the scene for your
We're going to go snorkeling. I'm Gary. This is Robyn. We're from Maryland, and we're going to go snorkeling. It's fishy as fuck.
No, it's very reasonable to believe that he handed her off to someone else.
Yes.
And got paid for it, probably.
And then tried to squeeze out more by suing Amex.
Yeah, we clearly know he's motivated financially.
Well, he has a lot of money, but he also knows how to do it because he used to work as an insurance scam expert, whatever.
100% fraud. Yeah, fraud analyst or whatever.
Unbelievable.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
Oh, I hate this.
I mean, this is every bit as weird and scandalous, I think, as the Natalie Holloway thing.
Of course,
so
yeah.
it is bizarre that like there's not more information about it. But Adrienne, I hope that I did her a little bit of justice, and yeah, it's truly awful. And I'm definitely on the side of trafficking as well, because I don't even know. It's so dark.
Is there an ongoing investigation? Is there like a tip line, anything like that?
Well, because it happened in Aruba, it's under Aruban, jurisdiction, and I think that they have pretty much pronounced her dead. They consider her dead. So there's, as far as I know, there is not an ongoing investigation, at least in Aruba.
Wow.
But yeah, nothing I saw. All the articles pretty much just ended in Gary was never charged.
You just want to provide, like, if anybody fucking knows anything, could come forward with additional evidence to bring this man to fucking justice.
Mm-hmm.
Even just reaching out to that, like, Natalie Holloway center.
She also has some really unique tattoos.
Mm-hmm.
As far as I can see, mostly on her left arm. She has like cheetah print on her shoulder and some text on the side of her arm, and like a branch, and I can't even tell what it is. But I think that is her wearing that favorite dress of hers.
Mm-hmm.
And so I believe that would be the most recent that shows like her tattoos and what she was wearing. If anyone thinks they might have some information, that would probably be helpful to look at. But yeah. Fucking Robyn. That's awful.
And you want to believe that. You want to believe she's alive. You want to believe Natalie Holloway is alive. And you almost don't, because being, sold into essentially sexual slavery and removed from your whole family, basically disappeared from the face of the earth while still being on earth, is unfathomable trauma. Like,
yeah,
you as a third party person who does not have like the friend or family connection to these people that like keeps that kind of, I just want to see them alive again feeling in your heart. And I do understand that. But as like a totally third party person, there are fates that are worse than death, in my opinion.
I think being swept up into like the mudslide of victims of trafficking, there's so many. And that's another thing I got really pissed off when like #SaveTheChildren.
Ugh.
It's like, you don't know what you're talking about.
Mm-mm.
There are children who are out there and being victimized on a daily basis.
Mm-hmm.
Those aren't the ones you're talking about.
Sure aren't. That's because the Venn diagram of those people and the like anti-abortion people is a fucking circle. They don't give a shit about kids that either don't look like them or are alive.
Or being abused by people with money.
No, of course not.
Anyway, I can't go there. I can't go there right now.
That's fine.
What?
We'll save it for another day because I've got plenty coming up. So should we take a quick break to hear a word from our sponsors?
I'd love to take a break no matter what it's for.
Let's do it. I am not a human mom, but I am a pet mom. And I'm aware, especially when my mom is going to visit or my mother-in-law is going to visit, what like clean is versus mom clean.
Totally. There's a big difference.
There's a big difference. There's a big difference. And like, I've got cats. They go on the kitchen counter. Beans likes to jump onto the rim of the toilet and try to like get into the toilet. Like, these cats can be a menace, and it can be very difficult to keep track of everything that they're doing, playing with, putting in their mouth, barfing on, and so I also have specific standards for the cleaning products that I'm using around the house because they have to work really, really, really well, And that is why I switched to Blue Land. Their products are made to meet the highest environmental standards, and their products are not just clean, they're mom clean.
Blue Land products are 100% plastic-free and made with certified clean ingredients that are safe to use around your family, your pets, even the plants in your house.
Yeah, you can wipe the plant leaves off.
Yeah. You don't have to choose between the safe option and what actually gets my house clean.
Mm-hmm.
So if you are also looking for a more sustainable lifestyle options, Blue Land is where it's at. From cleaning sprays to hand soap, I love their foaming hand soaps.
Mm-hmm.
Their toilet bowl cleaner.
Yeah.
Laundry tablets.
Mm-hmm.
All
the
their
dishwasher tablets. I use it all.
Yeah. It's so easy to use and it works so well. It just like fits seamlessly into your routine.
Mm-hmm.
Their products are powerfully effective and 100% plastic free. Because even if you're using those little laundry pods that have
wrapped,
plastic on them.
Yeah, microplastics, babe.
Yep. Blue Land products are independently tested to perform alongside major brands and are free from dyes, bleach, and harsh chemicals. And Blue Land is trusted in over 1 million homes, including ours. I love the hand soap, like I said, the toilet bowl cleaners. I just drop one in and just let it fizz for a while. It smells so good, so lemony, and I'm like, oh yeah, I'm cleaning, baby.
My husband and I both have sensitive skin too, so like the laundry tabs are amazing, and we're cleaning pretty constantly, and I just don't feel like I have like torn up hands and like weird reactions because these products are just so much safer.
My fingertips don't turn white.
Right, they're safer on your own body and still do the insurmountable task of cleaning the messes that I make, which are pretty unbelievable. So Blue Land has a special offer for our listeners right now. Get 15% off your first order by going to blueland.com/gals. You won't want to miss this. Blueland.com/gals for 15% off. That's blueland.com/gals to get 15% off.
This episode is brought to you by IQ Bar, our exclusive snack sponsor. IQ Bar is the better-for-you plant protein-based snacks made with brain-boosting nutrients to refuel, nourish, and satisfy hunger without the sugar crash.
I love these because I am not a breakfast person. So this gives me a whole variety of ways that I can make sure I'm putting something into my body in the morning that isn't going to throw off my entire day. IQ Bar's plant protein bars are packed with high-quality ingredients to help keep you physically and mentally fit, baby. IQ Bar is totally free from gluten, dairy, soy, GMOs, and artificial sweeteners for a natural anytime snack. You can try any of their 9 delicious flavors. I've got some favorites, but you can pick from mint chocolate chip, chocolate sea salt, banana nut. I'm obsessed with toasted coconut chip. I'm also obsessed with lemon blueberry, especially as like the weather is getting warm. That lemon blueberry just feels like a summer snack. They've also got peanut butter chip. I mean, come on. And they've got over 20,000 5-star reviews and counting, so more people than ever are starting their days on the right foot with IQ Bar's brain and body boosting bars, hydration mixes, and mushroom coffees. They are so good. I got the ultimate sampler pack. That's when I was first introduced to the lemon blueberry bar and then their mushroom coffees. And I was immediately all in. I was like, oh, okay, these will always be in my cabinet now.
And right now, IQ Bar is offering our special podcast listeners 20% off all IQ Bar products, plus get free shipping. To get your 20% off, text GALS to 64,000. Text GALS to 64,000. That's GALS to 64,000. Message and data rates may apply. See terms for details.
Did you know that Fast Growing Trees is the biggest online nursery in the U.S. with thousands of different plants and over 2 million happy customers? They have all the plants your yard needs, like fruit trees, privacy trees, flowering trees, shrubs, and so much more. Whatever plants you're interested in, Fast Growing Trees has you covered. Find the perfect fit for your climate and space. Fast Growing Trees makes it easy to get your dream yard. Order online and get your plants delivered directly to your door in just a few days without ever leaving home. They're alive and Thrive guarantee ensures your plants arrive happy and healthy. Plus, get support from trained plant experts on call to help you plan your landscape, choose the right plants, and learn how to care for them.
Their website is so remarkably easy to use. You plug in your zip code and it tells you your zone. I am 5B. And when we first got this sponsor, I went onto their website and I'm not going to lie. If we hadn't gotten this sponsor, I would not be re-landscaping my entire yard this summer.
You sure are.
I'm in it, baby.
You're in.
I am so excited to just plant shrubs, trees. I've had one sad arborvitae against my fence for years. Like maybe I can get her some friends.
And if you are like a new gardener, this is such a great way to get started because like you said, you can sort by zone and then they really break down the care needs, how much light they need, if they're annual or perennial, like what's going to help them thrive. It's literally gardening for dummies. Like anybody could use this.
I am so confident in my gardening abilities now because it's just remarkably easy and logical. And if you are having issues, like Amanda said, they've got folks on call to answer all of your questions. If you have a big yard, a small yard, if you don't have any yard, they have over 6,000 plants to fit any space. If you want to do like container gardening, if you want to look at house plants, or if you want like a full like oak tree starter.
I've got a cherry tree. I got a cherry tree in the mail that was like starting to grow leaves in its bag.
Yep.
That's now in the front yard. Like I
Thriving.
planted a tree.
Yeah, it's incredible. So if you have experience gardening, this is going to be the thing for you. If you don't have any experience with gardening, landscaping, plants of any kind, trust us, you're going to want to check out Fast Growing Trees. You will be shocked at how easy they make it and how beautiful their products are.
Truly. And this spring, they have the best deals for your yard, up to half off on select plants and other deals. And listeners to our show get 15% off their first purchase when using the code GALS at checkout. That's an additional 15% off at fastgrowingtrees.com using the code GALS at checkout. Fastgrowingtrees.com, code GALS. Now is the perfect time to plant. Use GALS to save today. Offer is valid for a limited time. Terms and conditions may apply. Are you ready for my AIDS?
Yeah.
This episode is so rough. Okay. So for my segment today, I'm examining the disappearance of Taylor Casey, a 41-year-old woman from Chicago who vanished in the Bahamas in June of 2024. So this was not long ago. It's just last year.
Less than a year ago.
Yep. What makes Taylor's case particularly concerning are the questions being raised by her family and friends about whether her identity as a Black trans woman and the lack of urgency from authorities are significantly impacting the search efforts. I think we can assume that they are.
Yes. God.
Yeah. So Taylor Casey, described by loved ones as an avid yogi of 15 years, embarked on a month-long yoga retreat at the Sivananda Ashram Yoga Retreat, Bahamas on Paradise Island.
Oh, that sounds lovely.
Yeah. It's not like White Lotus. I looked at the place. They have camping sites, but they also have a lot of different, more like fancy room options, and it's not cheap. I mean, prices vary from, $100 something for like a camping site, which is literally like a tent and access to a communal bathing and toilet area, and then like $500-$600+ a night rooms. So like it's nice. It's not like it's an expensive place to go.
Yeah. Okay.
And it's like mostly white people, even like the representatives. I think that even the owners are white, which is like very common.
Doesn't really
in the
surprise
Bahamas,
me.
white people opening a fucking yoga retreat where it's like cheap and the taxes are different, exploiting, colonizing. Anyway, we're going to do what we're going to do.
White people going to white.
Yep, precisely. So this renowned retreat featured in publications like the New York Times and Gwyneth Paltrow's Goop. Speaking of white people go to white.
The whitest thing ever.
Was meant to be an opportunity for Taylor to deepen her practice and even become a certified instructor. However, she was last seen alive on June 19th, 2024. The initial days following Taylor's disappearance were marked by frantic efforts from her mother, whose name is Colette Seymour, and close friends who worked tirelessly to find Taylor. They created social media accounts. They started a GoFundMe campaign for legal representation. They issued news releases. Like, they are pounding the pavement trying to get all eyes on this situation. But it was in a release on Monday, July 8th, 2024, that a crucial detail was disclosed: that Taylor Casey is a trans woman. Her mother, Colette.
God, did everything stop?
No, but I think it's just an important detail, and we're going to get to it right now, of why Colette didn't want to say that right away when she was reporting on this, or or following up with police and like trying to get visibility on the disappearance of her daughter.
And it's not central to her identity.
It's not, but it is central to her being a targeted, marginalized member of two intensely potentially violent recipient of violence against her margins of identity, both being trans and Black. So Absolutely. Like it's definitely an important detail, and because of all of those things, that's really why Colette didn't want to give that information right away. She explained that this information wasn't initially publicized out of fear that it would detract from the primary goal of finding her missing daughter. She said, quote, "The focus was going to be taken off of finding my child being missing, and that they were going to put the focus on, oh, Taylor's transgender, which should not be the focus at all." Since that's what Seymour said. That's the quote. She said that to the media, and about the media. She said, quote, It should be the focus is finding Taylor, an American human being citizen that's missing in the Bahamas." This decision initially to withhold Taylor's gender identity speaks volumes about the environment surrounding missing trans people and trans people in general, the existence and humanity of trans people in general, not just trans people who are missing. And Colette's valid fear was the potential biases they might face because of her daughter's gender identity, as well as her daughter's race. This is not just an American issue, but a global issue. For Taylor, who disappeared in the Caribbean, statistics paint a grim picture. According to a study by the LGBTQIA+ advocacy group Transgender Europe, 74% of the 321 murders of trans and gender nonconforming people reported worldwide between October 2022 and September 2023 occurred in Latin America and the Caribbean. 74%.
74%?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
And the study also found that 91% of worldwide trans murder victims were trans women or female presenting, and the majority were people of color. Both intersections that Taylor stands at. While the Bahamas is not specifically mentioned as a hotspot in this report, it's crucial to note that consensual same-sex sexual activity is still banned in the Bahamas, indicating a potentially challenging social and legal landscape for LGBTQIA+ individuals. So specifically, it's like you almost don't want the investigators to know all those details about her gender identity. We don't even know what her sexual identity is.
That was my first, when you were like, well, she didn't disclose it in the first, couple of press conferences.
Yeah, because if these are considered like illegal activities in these areas, then what kind of investigation can you trust them to give? Just because she exists and is a trans woman. But that's, that's
my
the
reaction
question.
Was, why should that matter? But it very much matters in the sense that you probably wouldn't want to broadcast that.
Yep. Taylor's friends and family openly expressed their belief that the search efforts would have been significantly different if Taylor were white and cisgender. Quote, without a doubt, said her mom, Colette Seymour. There would have been way more efforts. The investigation would have been done properly, the way it should have been done. Their frustration extends to the Royal Bahamas Police Force, the RBPF. Colette Seymour and Taylor's friend Emily Williams, who traveled to the Bahamas 5 days after Taylor's disappearance to meet with investigators and collect her belongings, described these meetings as unsuccessful. They accused the authorities of providing contradictory information compared to what was being shared with the media. Furthermore, they stated that police did not put up missing persons posters near or at the retreat or in any heavily populated areas, and said they were only posting them online.
Helpful.
Yeah. Seymour recounted her experience upon arriving in the Bahamas, stating that she, quote, did not see a single missing persons flyer for my daughter. She felt the police were, quote, really nonchalant and just not acting like it was their child missing, leaving her with more questions than answers after her visit. In response to this criticism, Royal Bahamas Police Force issued a news release stating that Paradise Island Police and the Marine Support Services were mobilized to search for Taylor Casey on land and sea, quote, immediately after she was like reported missing.
Then do it. What happened? What's the results?
Right? They affirmed that, quote, this is a matter of priority for the Royal Bahamas Police Force, and we will continue to work arduously, doing all we can to locate Taylor and ensure her safe return to her family. Adding that they would, quote, diligently seek to determine what happened to Taylor, and in the process, all relevant stakeholders will be updated in a timely manner. However, these assurances have done little to quell the concerns of Taylor's loved ones. Emily Williams, the friend who went to the Bahamas with her mom, Colette, noted that the recovery of Taylor's iPhone from the ocean, some of the very little evidence that was recovered from the scene, like most of the belongings they were gathering was like stuff that she had in her room.
Yeah, just in her hotel room.
I don't know if there were like clothes, shoes, things like that found. We do know that her phone was found in the water.
In the ocean.
In the ocean. So that doesn't necessarily mean she went in the ocean. It just means her phone ended up in the ocean.
Could have been on the beach, swept up.
Mm-hmm.
Could have been thrown in the ocean.
Yeah. So Emily noted that the recovery of Taylor's iPhone from the ocean near the retreat in July, after a police dog tracked a scent from the retreat to the water, ultimately ending at the water, has yielded no substantive updates. Investigators requested help from American authorities to unlock the phone and review surveillance footage from the island, but found no connecting information. Underwater drones were also allegedly deployed in July without any additional results, like no other evidence was found except for the phone. And as far as I know, they don't know what's on the phone. Like the family doesn't know, the media doesn't know. If authorities have unlocked the phone, they haven't shared that information.
Of course they can figure out what's on the phone.
Right? You know, even if it's like fucked up because of water, there's a lot on the cloud. There's a lot that can be recovered from the hard drive by a forensic tech professional. Like,
I feel like
we
you
see
can
people
smash a
try
phone
to
with a hammer and they'll still find out what's on the phone.
We see people try to destroy electronics all the time as a way to like cover up evidence, and like they can still find shit connected to those electronics. So like, we have the fucking technology. Adding another layer of complexity is the recent suspension of the RBPFs, that Bahamian police force.
Caribbean.
Bahamian, Chief Superintendent of Criminal Investigations, Michael Johnson, so he was suspended. He's like their chief of criminal investigations, which you'd think Taylor's case might fall under his umbrella as the chief of criminal investigations.
You'd think.
He was suspended due to leaked voice notes allegedly discussing dropping criminal investigations for money, taking bribes to just stop looking into things.
Great. That's great.
While authorities,
I love that.
I know, right? It's perfect. While authorities stated this is not related to Casey's case, of course not.
Oh, no.
Taylor Casey. Her friend Emily commented, quote, "It makes so much more sense to know that that person is now suspended because of corruption and taking bribes." Adding that, quote, "That certainly lines up with our impression of how things were not right when we were there talking to authorities." Taylor was reportedly last seen at the Sivananda Ashram yoga retreat on June 19th. Her mother stated that in phone calls since Taylor had arrived at the retreat on June 3rd, her daughter seemed like herself in the majority of those calls. But on the day she went missing, Taylor told her mother, quote, "Ma, this is hard," a sentiment that deeply worried Seymour, as Taylor was not a quitter and was passionate about yoga.
Oh.
Later, Seymour and Williams, the friend Emily Williams, were told that several attendees at the retreat described Taylor as, quote, "isolated" and, quote, "not integrated well into the program."
Okay.
Williams pointed out that Taylor was the only Black person and the only trans person out of the 14 retreat participants, suggesting that these dynamics may have contributed to the difficulties that Taylor was expressing to her mom on the phone. So yeah, you're the only Black trans woman there, and this is like a retreat featured in Goop, so you know it's like all fucking white yogis.
Yep.
reading about
It's a
this,
certain type of person.
for sure. And reading about this really reminded me of the case of Tamala Horsford in Georgia in 2018. She was a 40-year-old mom of 5 who had been invited to a slumber party of like football moms.
Oh my God, totally.
And was the only Black woman in attendance and was found dead in the backyard of the host's home the next morning.
I forgot about, did they figure out what happened there?
So her death was initially ruled an accident because it had looked like she had fallen off of a balcony. But like the case or the evidence has been reinvestigated at least once because like the forensics of that claim weren't quite adding up. But I guess
like some of the husbands involved or something like
nobody's
that too.
nobody's been charged, and none of the women that were there are talking.
So
like it's been reinvestigated at least once since that initial report, like coroner report, that she had died from a fall from the balcony. It's been looked into, and I think that there is a lot more to that than we were drinking and then she fell and we didn't find her till the next day.
Even if she fell,
like,
you're gonna let her die? Didn't she like she died in the backyard? Like,
I think so.
No one looked for her. What's she doing on a balcony? You're in the suburbs.
Anyway, it's just like, yeah, it's shady and fears of being the only marginalized person in a group of white people, including white women, because we are very capable of racial violence, is very valid. Those fears are valid and we should like honor them. And I completely understand why Taylor's mom and friend are scared about that could have been a factor. Something could have happened to her.
Yeah.
We don't know.
The only person of color, that's something very visually obvious.
Mm-hmm.
And you're the only trans person, which isn't so visually obvious. It's like,
well,
man.
and, definitely do yourselves a favor and look into like the holistic wellness to like far right pipeline.
oh, yeah.
Again, let me be very clear. I'm not making accusations. I don't know any of these people that were also at this retreat. I'm not saying that they were racist or that they were far right MAGA, wellness lunatics. I'm not saying that. I'm saying that concerns about that are very valid.
Yeah, there are many examples.
There are other examples, concerns about that from people of color, marginalized people, trans people, disabled people being the only one at that intersection in the room.
The people you should listen to about these kinds of things
are 100% valid, and that there's a lot of compelling evidence. There have been documentaries about this. I mean, even looking at things like Nexium, like these sort of culty wellness. And then you get into white people with dreads, and then you're like, hold up.
Oh, God.
There's a racism afoot. And then suddenly it's like, I don't vaccinate my kids. And then suddenly it's like 5G is poisoning our minds. And then suddenly it's like the election was stolen. The
January 6th.
The pipeline is very real. So just be mindful about your mindfulness. Anyway.
We should do an episode on pipelines.
I would love to, because they're horrifying and fascinating, and seeing the signs is so important because it's easy to get sucked into a pipe.
Pipelines.
So the retreat itself also faced criticism. Seymour and Williams claimed that the staff members provided conflicting accounts of when Taylor was last seen, and discouraged them, her family and friends, from seeking information from other guests. They wanted to talk to the other people that were at the retreat. I would too.
Yep.
And the retreat was, not working with them to, make that happen or pass along communications, or even, it sounds like, really give these other attendees the opportunity to provide information. All of that has been done because Taylor's mom and Taylor's friend have taken up arms to find her and set up channels for people to call, for, they're doing all of the self-advocacy while all of these other systems are just...
The retreat is just about peace and light.
Right.
And love.
And, whatever. I get a business that's like, we can't just give out the information of other people that came here. Sure. Okay. But there are other channels through which you could connect these people so that this family could get some fucking answers. Why are you trying, someone died.
Something.
or didn't die. We don't know that she died. I'm sorry, I shouldn't have said that. Somebody disappeared under, like, from your wellness center. Wouldn't you want to do everything you can to help find her? Like, that's shady to me. Even from like a business standpoint, that's shady to me.
Yes.
Her friend William said, quote, they struggled to keep a cohesive linear narrative about the details of what happened. While Jonathan Goldblum, a spokesperson for the retreat, Goop, expressed appreciation for the family's stress, like, I understand that you're stressed, and stated that they advised the police on the evening of June 20th after determining Taylor was missing, and that the night before was the last time she was seen. He also added that, quote, the police have advised that they believe that Taylor left the ashram voluntarily, that there's no sign of, like, an extraction or a struggle. So basically they were like,
But she left all her shit there.
Right. But, like, we've been cooperating with the police, and essentially we agree that we believe Taylor left the premises of her own volition. And that's all. That's our stance, and that's all we're saying.
That's what the cop said, or that's what the retreat said?
Both.
Oh, great.
The retreat is just saying we're working with the police, and we have no reason to believe that she didn't leave voluntarily, which is exactly what the police are saying she did.
Okay.
This assertion contradicts the concerns and fears of Taylor's family and friends, who think that more could have gone down on that retreat. And if we just could look into it, maybe we'd have more context for why she would have left the grounds in the first place, voluntarily or not. As months passed, so it had been 4 months by late October, which is when, like, basically the most recent updates have been reported in the media, is October of 2024. And at that point, she'd been missing for 4 months. As of right now, she's been missing for going on 9 months. And, like, I went to the Facebook page, and I'll share that in my notes, but they're still posting and sharing information. And a recent graphic that they posted are like, there have been no significant updates to share. We're still just trying to get the right agencies involved to work on this case.
That has to be so fucking frustrating.
It's devastating. The lack of substantial updates has fueled the family's plea for the FBI to take over the investigation. The FBI has stated that they stand ready to assist if requested by the Bahamian authorities, but referred inquiries to the Bahamian authorities. Like, we're not handling this. If they want to call us in, sure. But for now, you go to them to figure this out. I couldn't find anything recent that can confirm whether or not the FBI has been called by Bahamian authorities to assist with the case, or if they have any involvement in the case at all. And you'd think that if there was media coverage...
She's an American citizen.
Well, yes, but, like, if you think about the fact that there was media coverage about how the FBI said, for now, if they reach out to us, we'll work with them, but for now, go through them. If they had taken over the case, I feel like there would have been an article about that. There would have been a press conference from Taylor's family. Like, her mom is still out here every day talking about this case. So if that information had been available, I have a hard time believing it wouldn't be out there, which leads me to believe the FBI is not working on this case. Despite all of these challenges, Taylor's community has rallied around her. Her mother noted that the local LGBTQIA+ community has gone above and beyond in their support, with local businesses holding fundraisers. There was an initial GoFundMe campaign that has raised over $47,000 to support the search efforts, funding travel back and forth to the Bahamas, press conferences, attorneys, private investigation team. Like, they are doing everything they can to find her. Continued donations are aimed at further trips to the Bahamas and Washington, D.C., and I will have a link for where you can contribute. Financial support for the family, ongoing legal and investigation costs, and national and international outreach. So this shit, when you're taking up the mantle to fight for your own kid and other agencies aren't helping to fight for you, you have to build the resources. You have to pay for that shit out of pocket.
You have to move the mountains.
Yep. The updated crowdsource link to support and the Facebook page dedicated to her case, again, linked in my show notes, my sources, so that anyone who wants to support this ongoing search can do so. And I really hope that folks listening will be moved to support this family and help find Taylor, even just like following that Facebook page and, keeping her keeping her name in the media because we need to find her. Illinois Senator Tammy Duckworth's office has also been actively monitoring the situation and coordinating with relevant federal agencies to assist the family. However, the family continues to urge elected officials to ensure an effective investigation is being conducted. So it's like, it can't just stop at, a senator made a call to the feds. Like, we have to keep pushing. So Colette Seymour has expressed, obviously, her heartbreak and longing for her daughter's safe return. There's also a $10,000 reward for anyone that can provide solid information that would lead to finding her. She believes that the Sivananda Ashram yoga retreat needs to implement better security measures. Like, they need security cameras, they need some kind of security team, especially given the significant cost of attending the retreat. Like, you pay a lot to go. You should fucking feel safe.
Yeah, I found the Facebook group.
Perfect. Not that money and safety are synonymous by any stretch of the imagination, whether or not you have the money to go to a place like this or to exist. You should always feel safe. But it's like, it's salt in the wound.
Purchased.
The
money should have been a resource for a safe environment.
I'm going to pay $150 a night for a tent and you can't even get a fucking security camera?
Yeah.
Like, that's bullshit. That's egregious. So Taylor Casey's disappearance is deeply fucking troubling, all too real in the times in which we live, and the attacks, certainly in the States, on the trans community, and the concerns raised by her family and friends about race and gender identity biases influencing the investigation are serious, and they're valid, and they warrant attention. Every missing person deserves a thorough and unbiased search, regardless of their identity, which is ultimately the message behind the concept of missing white woman syndrome. I feel like a lot of white people feel very activated by that, but the message is that everybody deserves that kind of relentless attention and relentless use of resources and relentless search. Not just...
She's out there. She's
out there somewhere. So, yeah. We've discussed that many times on this show, so I won't belabor that point. It's just this shit, the lack of concrete updates after months of searching really underscores the need for increased transparency and potentially greater involvement from international authorities. And I'm hopeful that if more people are talking about it, then maybe that pressure can build on these agencies to fucking do something.
Yeah. If you cooperation with each other.
Yeah.
Like,
if you have any information, no matter how small it may seem, regarding the disappearance of Taylor Casey, please contact Find Taylor Casey at 773-676-0733. I'm also going to share a graphic that I included in my drive. Her family and friends are desperate for answers and to bring Taylor home. And because I'm mentioning that I am sharing a graphic that has that number and also has Taylor's image on it, this is the last thing that I want to say because I can see the comments in my head. In the most circulated photo of Taylor, she's wearing what appears to be a Harry Potter shirt. And I want to urge anyone who is immediately turned off by that to remember that, A, it isn't our business how trans people choose to engage with that fandom, or for that to be the focus of the conversation in comments is that she's wearing a Harry Potter shirt. We don't know what her complicated relationship with those stories are, what that fandom is, and it really doesn't matter a bit when it comes to Taylor being a human being who deserves to be found. That said, cis allies to trans people can and should continue to speak out against J.K. Rowling and continue to withhold money going into her pocket by like buying new Harry Potter shit, and can hold her to the fucking fire, especially for her most recent act of egregious violence.
What did she do now?
She was a major donor to a campaign that led to a UK Supreme Court decision, I believe as of today, as we're recording this, certainly this week, establishing that trans women in the UK are legally not women. And then she tweeted some photo of her holding up a cocktail and smoking a cigar overlooking a beautiful beach and said, like, I love when plans come to fruition or whatever. She had been a major donor to that whole campaign. And she got what she fucking wanted, but that does not erase the existence of trans women.
Why do people care about that?
People are
Why
lunatics.
do you care?
She's a fucking
the
Looney
fuck
Tune.
kind of threat is that to you? What are you talking about?
Well, when your own femininity and your own sense of womanhood is so fucking fragile, you will punch down at anyone else so that your own bullshit doesn't feel threatened. She's a pathetic fucking person and a monster.
Blowing to the mind.
I know.
Why some people give a fuck about how other people live their lives.
Well, she's a cunt. Anyway, yeah, so we don't want to continue to invest in her body of work because she funded campaigns like that before. She funded this successful campaign. Us giving her money funds those things too. We, as cis allies, can stay the course on that shit without criticizing Taylor or any trans folks who have attachments to those stories. Many of us did.
You have a Harry Potter tattoo.
I did, yes.
Oh, did.
Yeah, but, I certainly had big attachments to that. I can own that I haven't always made the best decisions around letting that nostalgic attachment go, and I can do better just like all of us can. But it isn't our lane to demand that trans people do that heavy lifting as the marginalized and targeted group. So
No.
I just wanted to make sure that before, if you are compelled to comment as a cisgendered person on the shirt that she's wearing in the photo trying to fucking find her,
The missing the flyer.
please do yourself a favor and don't make that comment. It's not helpful. It's harmful. And we can fuck J.K. Rowling and wish her nothing but misery and eternal suffering and not make the comment section a commentary on a trans woman wearing a Harry Potter shirt. Both of those things we can do.
It is the classiest Harry Potter shirt
she looks
I've ever
fucking
seen.
spectacular. We don't know when she bought the shirt. It doesn't
When the photo
matter.
was taken, it doesn't matter at the end of the day. It could have been taken yesterday.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter.
What matters is this beautiful, vibrant woman deserves to be found and deserves justice. So how about we focus on that instead? Just wanted to get ahead of that because the second I saw that photo, I was like, well, and I'm not saying that I'm not picturing specifically Wine Coven members. I can just see the comments. No. I can visualize the comments that could come from anything that's shared super widely on the internet where there's
People
always
in general
some fucking douche.
They want to say something.
Yep.
And that is just the nature of the internet and social media.
Yeah. And
it's not, that's just how it works. But you're absolutely right. I'm glad you addressed it. Get out of here with that shit.
Get out of here with that shit. And let's find Taylor.
Let's find Taylor. Let's find Robyn. Let's be very careful about international travel, especially in and out of the United States. Adrian, thank you for this.
Damn, Adrian. Damn.
Goddamn. It's always the fan picks.
It is.
Oh my God.
Even our Luminol episode wasn't this dark. That's about blood. Y'all.
Luminol was fun.
Luminol was phenomenal. You're phenomenal.
You're phenomenal. And
Thank
if you want to
you.
listen to this episode and our whole back catalog ad-free, you got to check out Uncorked.
And
Go
a
to
ton
our
of bonus
website.
content.
Oh, spooky little bitch. Just published an episode on strippers, myself.
Drunk
Amanda's got
dives, a mansplaining.
a mansplaining.
All ad-free, baby.
All ad-free. Head on over
Exclusive
to our
merch.
website, wineandcrimepodcast.com. Click on Uncorked. We'll tell you exactly how to get there. And thank you for listening to us this week. And hopefully we'll see you again next week.
God willing. Bye-bye.